Greetings, Patriots. In today's lesson, you will be comparing and ordering rational numbers. I'd like you to stop and organize your notebook, and here's just an idea of things that you're going to see. We will go over some vocabulary while we are working through some numbers and ordering numbers. We will also be doing some examples. So under I do, you can already see I've pasted some of the examples and the numbers we'll be using and placing them in order. And then you'll have a we do assignment. So make sure that you set this up with I do and we do. And of course, your ticket out the door. Okay, let's get started. I will compare and order real numbers. So where is it that we see comparing and ordering of numbers? So I just gave you a variety of pictures. You see this when we're looking at timed events in the Olympics. You see it in science. You see it when we're comparing prices and shopping. And when we're comparing weights, right? So the word compare means I'm looking at two things to see which one maybe weighs more, weighs less, and I'm making comparisons. So this is what we will do. We will compare, and we will also place numbers in order. I'm going back to what the graphic organizer we've been using in this unit. So again, we are going to be taking rational, right, numbers and irrational numbers at times as well, and we are going to be placing them in order. So let's first start with our first example. It's important that you have your Desmos graphing calculator out, and you should have seen the video that we posted on just how you enter specific values in your calculator. So when you enter square root of 65, you should get, of course, an irrational number, and the value that you're going to get is 8.062, and I'm just going to emphasize that this number would continue because it's irrational. Go ahead and convert everything to decimal value. Okay, so here you have 7 plus 8/9, and a little bit more than 7. So I know I'm going to have 7, and you can divide 8 divided by 9 in your calculator, or you can also type in 7 plus 8 divided by 9. And when you do that, you should all get 7.8 repeating. Okay, so that 8 is going to repeat. 7.9 has definitely terminated, and then 8. So I'm going to write everything as I would in money, okay? $8, $7.90, etc. So your job in this first example is to write things from least to greatest. Sometimes it's important that you line your decimals up if you need to. So I can see here that this is the least amount. So I have 7.8 repeating as the smallest value. Then I have that is less than 7 9/10, 7.90, and that is less than $8. And of course, my square root of 65 is 8 600 approximately. So it's real important that you organize this. Like as I said, you could also have lined these up if you needed to in order to help you refer to your place value, okay, to make decisions on which is the smallest and which is the greatest, okay? Make sure you rewrite in original form. So if I go to 7.8 repeating, I know that that's equivalent to 7 8/9. That's going to be less than 7.9. That's going to be less than 8, and that's going to be less than the square root of 65. Or you can just simply place them in that order. Okay, make sure you wrote those down in your note. Now we're going to look at the following. But before we do, I'm making a note that all I see here are negative values. So I just want to emphasize that sometimes it's good to actually draw yourself a number line, and just remember that as I move to the right of the number line, right, my values increase. So the value of your numbers increase in value. But as you move to the left of your number line, okay, they become less in value. So -1 is actually greater than -2. -2 would be less than -1. okay? Less in value. The farther I go to the left, the less in value I am. So here's -4, and I could go on, and here's -5. So what's in between -4 and -5? Well, -4.5, okay? So the farther I go to the left, the less in value I am. Okay, so if I divide -31 divided by 6, I am going to convert this to a decimal value, and I see that I get the following answer on my calculator. The negative square root of 24. Here is another irrational value. -4.0. Notice I'm just writing in decimal value. And -4.2 repeating. Okay? That 2 repeats. All right, so now it might be useful for you to see that all the values that I'm dealing with definitely go to the left side of the 0. So I'm just going to take -4 and -5, okay? And in the center, I'm going to put -4.5, just so I have a point of reference. So if I need to write these from least to greatest, that means the farther left I go, the less in value. So it seems to me then the farthest left is going to be -5.16 repeating. That's going to be somewhere over here, okay? So this is the least. Then, as I continue to look, if I look at this, I like to always find my greatest value. Well, I see -4 is going to be my greatest value, okay? So I can already write that right here, but I'm using my number line to help me. Now I end up with -4.2. Well, I know -4.2 repeating has to be before -4.5, and then the negative square root of 4.24 is going to be past that. So therefore, I know the smaller one is -4.89 because it's to the left. And then I would have -4.2 repeating. So I have ordered them with the decimal and the use of my number line to help me. So now let's rewrite everything in original form. -31 divided by 6 is equivalent to that. The next one in line would be from least to greatest would be negative square root of 24 is my original. -4.2 repeating. And -4 would be the largest. All right, Patriots, let's go ahead and move to the next example. Here I am looking at the following problem, okay? Place in ascending order. Well, I decided to give you a picture of an airplane just to kind of show you that an airplane increases, right? So if I think about this word, the airplane starts off and then goes up, right, in takeoff. So this is the same thing as saying I'm looking for the least to the greatest. So that's what you need to refer to, okay? So again, I'm going to follow the same strategy that I used. I'm going to take my 11/3 and I am going to write the decimal form for that. And when I do, I get 3.6 repeating. I don't have to do anything to 3.26. And if you guys look at your decimals calculator, their pi is on there, and you'll see that that's approximately 3.14 ... So I'm just converting every single number that I have to decimal value. And then finally, the square root of 12 would be 3.46. Okay, so now that I have all of these numbers in decimal form, my job is to put them in ascending order. So if I look at the smallest value, that would be 3.14. So $3.14 if you want to look at it in forms of money. So pi would have to be the least, okay? Then when I'm done with pi, I have 3.26 would be the next value that would be the smallest, okay? I'm going least to greatest. And then my next value would be the square root of 12, which is approximately 3.46. Finally, I have 3 and 66 cents repeating, so that would be 11/3. And finally, the greatest value is 3.8. So again, when you see the word ascending order, think of that plane taking off, least to greatest, and this is your final order. All right, let's go ahead and look at descending order. If I'm looking at descending order, I'm just going to erase here a little bit. Now, I've given you another picture. I'm going from the largest or the greatest to the least, okay? So greatest to least, that is descending order. Same thing, I'm going to go ahead and convert. My strategy is convert everything to decimal form. 350%, you can type as 350 divided by 100 because percent is out of 100, and you'll notice that that gives you 3.5. And then 3.3, I don't have to do anything with that. Square root of 14 gives me approximately 3 7/400, and 16 divided by 4 is 4. So as I look at the descending order, now I'm going to go greatest to least. So I see that $4 is the greatest, but it's represented as 16 divided by 4, okay? The next largest value is the square root of 14, which is $3.74 approximately, because I know that's irrational. And then I get 350% would be my next value, next largest, and finally 3.3 repeating. So I just went from the greatest to the least. Okay? Last final problem that we will do together. So I just want to make sure you're understanding when I'm timing you in a race, right? The least value is your fastest time. So you want to get there before everybody, right? So if I think about this, your slowest time is actually your larger value, right? So as I look at speed, who came in first place? That's how I look at that. Well, John ran his race in 8.04 seconds. So he came in the fastest. And who was the slowest? By looking at these times, I can see the slowest was Kelly, okay? And Howard fell in the middle. So when I am ordering time based on speed, okay, your less in value time is your fastest time. So here we go. The slowest person was Kelly with a time of 9.03 seconds. Then it was Howard who came in next at 8.14 seconds. And finally, it was John who won the race at 8.04 seconds. So this was your fastest time, and this was your, Kelly was your slowest time. All right, now an opportunity to do is compare and order on a Schoology assignment, so make sure you refer to that. And tick it out, think about it. What was the strategies that we used when we were comparing and ordering numbers? Okay, we should always convert to what first, and also use number lines to help us. Make sure that you are also typing your numbers appropriately. All right, have a great day, Patriots.